First question for Peter. So a question here, do you conduct any business or concentrate sales with the Luna smelter that's in Rwanda currently?
We are about to enter into an agreement with them, and we'll be giving them our first consignment in a couple of weeks' time. We've always wanted to do downstream beneficiation in country, but our previous offtake agreement didn't allow us to do it. We've just entered into a new offtake agreement. So we're going to be giving 40 tons to them in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you. And just a question from me as well. How are you splitting your focus between developing your current projects and the exploration at Musha?
We're actually running our exploration program as a separate project so that we can keep the focus because it's so important to our future and making sure that we have a dedicated team running the operations.
Thank you. A few questions for Mayra as well. So we have someone who's asking, saying they already have some existing ESG certifications. Are those able to be used to meet the TIN code as well?
Yes, so, well, through the TIN code, you can provide evidence of any kind of evidence. I think that it's also like some certifications. You can use certifications, you can use other kind of third-party verified reports. Some companies provide us with sustainability reports as well, or integrated reports. We always like to say that as much evidence that you can provide, like everything is welcome, and the assessor will review all it.
Great, thank you. We also have another question. So you mentioned that the TIN code has as many as 71 ESG standards. Are these all relevant to the junior miners and the explorers and developers group?
So for the E&D group, we have identified that only 57 or around 57 standards will be relevant to the E&D group, but it will depend in the end of the stage of the operation. So around 57, not all the 71 standards, but it, in the end, depends on the operation, the stage.
Thank you. Question for Jamul as well. So talking about the Ortsorg Ovu project, what kind of timescale do we have for moving from exploration and sort of pilot processing onwards? What kind of timescales?
Yeah, so it's really a matter of financing and gaining a potentially strategic partner. We already have our mining license, and being a locally owned company, you know, I was born there, raised there. I'm still a Mongolian citizen, and it's a small country of 3.4 million people. So, you know, we pretty much between my sister, who is, you know, in the government, former Minister of Health, my brother, who's been an entrepreneur and country manager for the company for the last 30 years. As an entrepreneur in Mongolia, we are within 1-2 degrees of separation of anyone in the country. So we certainly have ability to execute locally. So it really is a matter of financing and getting a strategic partner that can, you know, ramp this project up. It's a cold country, so depending on season or when we would commence, you know, works on the project, you know, it could take anywhere between, you know, probably 1 to 3 years, depending. Again, a lot of it depends on strategic partners, because, you know, dealing with a lot of the Asian companies, they're not necessarily going to go through the route of doing the compliant exploration reports and, you know, doing all of the items that we tend to do here in, you know, North America and Australia. So, you know, they like to skip to production as fast as possible. So, you know, in discussions with Chinese counterparties, you know, it is possible to have an operating mine running in a year and a half or 2 years.
Great, thank you. And just on a similar note for offtake agreements as well, do you have anything in the running at the moment for where you will send your concentrates?
So we have an MOU signed with Traxys, which is a New York-based metals trader, as you probably know. And again, you know, we are in that difficult stage, right before feasibility studies. So, our focus is into either work with a strategic partner and move straight to production based on just ground level work and just moving things towards cash flow, or which seems less likely these days, again, because of the state of capital markets and regional retrenchments, ability to raise capital and do a proper, Western standard feasibility work. So we have kind of two paths in front of us, and a lot of it depends really who we end up partnering with.
Great, thank you very much. So I think we will draw this session to a close now. So I'd like to thank everyone who has joined us in person and also everyone who has joined us online through Zoom. So we will now move to the lunch next door, and I would also like to mention that we do have our International Tin Conference, which is coming up in mid-May in Penang in Malaysia. So that will be much more focus of the entire international tin community. So that will be a really exciting event going forwards. And for now, thank you to everyone, thank you to all of our speakers, and yeah, please enjoy the lunch as well.